Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 31. Over the period of doing these video logs, I'd sort of had a comment, a highlight, that it seems like you're doing a progression through Flat Earth. And to be perfectly honest, it's not really the case. After interviewing Fake Spaceman in Space, it kind of occurred to me that I was more progressed on this journey than I perhaps thought I was. I'd investigated a lot of things like 9/11 and all the rest of it long before I came across Flat Earth. Hence, the penny for me dropped really fast. But I'm still at the same stage that I was on the first video log. I mean, I recently went back through them to see if I'd missed any comments or there was any replies or any answers that I could get out of them. And there wasn't. You know, it was disappointing, to say the least. But this isn't really a progression log. I'm not finding out anything more than I kind of knew at the beginning, with the exception of better confirmations coming through you. So Mark Sargent is interviewing people who are very much in the possession of better toys. You know, it's all well and good us doing laser tests, and my hat is off to Jeranism for doing those tests. If it wasn't for people like him, the chances are the snowball wouldn't have gained the momentum that it has. But when you've got someone who's using narrow radar at, you know, whatever it is, 50 miles and, you know, painting targets, as they call it, it's a really good confirmation of Flat Earth. However, talking of sea level, I wanted to know a basic question, or I've always kind of had in the back of my mind a desire to have a proper model. Now, I'm sure everybody's the same. You know, once you've had all your answers taken away from you, you want them replacing. But you've got to, as Jeranism again put it, you've got to go right back to basics. Now, if we live on the flat Earth, which I'm firmly convinced we do, having been lied to by NASA and investigated the people who gave us the globe, only to find that they don't believe we're on a globe themselves. You know, many of their works, they say, well, that doesn't really work, but here's another idea. But we never see those. We just see the ones that revolve around the globe, and all the reinforcement for the globe, and all the media propaganda for the globe, and even if you make a PowerPoint presentation, the chances are it's going to slip globes into that presentation, as I've found recently. So there's reinforcements for this idea everywhere, and very, very little proof. But I wanted to go back to basics myself, you know, so I started looking at sea level, and it's a mean average. You know, sea level's kind of meaningless. I'm sure I heard someone say that the low Earth orbit starts at sea level in some cases when it's referenced. So you think, well, okay, so that's not a sensible reference for anything either. So I thought, well, there must be other reference points. And then my ears got pricked up when Wakey said he was interested in looking at the Nevada salt flats. And you think, well, yeah, that's a vast expanse of very flat land. That would be a useful one for curvature, if nothing else. Because that's kind of what we've got to go on at the moment. We've got curvature. You know, we've got this brilliant position where we know a lot of amateur stuff has got GoPro lenses. We know what happens when you send up a normal lens, or even if you just lens correct some of the GoPro stuff. So we know we've got an eye-level horizon, we know there's no curve, and we know we've been lied to by NASA. But we don't know what flat is. You know, where does it begin? What is the start of Flat Earth? What's the beginning level? Now, if you asked a surveyor, they'd tell you all about the plane survey. But what about the Dead Sea? You know, that's, 500 or 300, I forget which, you know, massive level below sea level, totally unaffected by the moon. It doesn't have any tides, and arguably they'd say it's much more dense. But nonetheless, it's a very low point on our flat Earth. So what do we take as zero? Do we take the Dead Sea? Do we take the Nevada salt flats? What is flat? We have no reference for it. Unfortunately for us, we can't do what NASA say they do and just send something above where we live. If there is, as MIT call it, a hard and fast layer, we won't be able to ever find out. So we're left with a question that is pretty much unanswerable. I'm sure the comments will correct me if I'm wrong here, but what is flat? I believe we live on the flat Earth. I don't think we live on a globe. If anybody can tell me what flat really is, I'd be really pleased. I've been Nathan Oakley.
I'll see you in the next video.